Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Sinead Says podcast. I just want to say a massive happy Valentine's for everyone. We're going to have a little Valentine special today. We're actually going to do a meditation, but it's going to be on a separate it's going to be on the next podcast. I'm just going to say Valentine's meditation because I just wrote one and I did it this morning for the Girls Book Club and it was just so lovely. So I thought, why not add that as a little Valentine special? But we're just going to have some girly chats today. I feel like sometimes there's like so many serious talks and conversations and sometimes we just need to like catch up and, you know, talk about how I'm getting on with life, how I'm feeling, because sometimes I have a lot of emotion. I have a lot of emotions today. It's Valentine's Day. It's one of those days, but we'll get into it. But before we get into the Valentine's special, I just want to say a massive thank you to our sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp have been getting me through today. No, it's not that bad, guys. I don't know why I'm emotional today. We'll talk about it again. But sometimes we're emotional. We need to be rational. And sometimes our brains cannot rationalize. And that is why therapy is so important. Sometimes you have all these thoughts inside your brain and they're so irrational. And when you get them out and you give them to someone else, they're able to detangle them. They're able to help you rationalize and bring you back into the room instead of just being in your head. And I cannot thank therapy enough for everything it's done for me. And if you want to try therapy, then BetterHelp have an online counselling platform that you can Zoom call, you can message, there's group webinars. It's amazing. It's affordable, guys. I cannot recommend it enough. So you can get 10% off your first month with betterhelp.com/Sinead. That is betterhelp.com/Sinead. So guys, it's been Valentine's. You know what? I thought I was going to come on here today and be Mrs. Positive. I thought I was going to come on and show you. Do you know what? The day started off really well. It really started really well. I even seen a couple this morning and they just look so cute. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy for them. Like it is so beautiful. Like love is so beautiful. And that's one thing, you know, like people are looking at other people all day on Instagram, like looking at the flowers, looking at all the stuff that they got, and they're like comparing, when in fact we can turn around and be like, how amazing is love and how amazing it is for someone to feel what that person's feeling in that moment. And sometimes we feel, if we're single, like a bit sour, but at the same time, like if you fall into that resentment, like anytime you feel those emotions of resentment, like you can turn them around to inspiration. You can turn them around to be happy for someone by stepping into their shoes and being like, that's an amazing feeling. And that's easier said than done today. I think it's like a wee bit harder. Do you know what? My friend texted me today and I goes, you're 100% right. That's exactly what it is. She was like, I always feel a little weird around the whole like special occasions because I have a lot of love to give and I think I expect too much because I give too much. I don't believe that though. I feel like you should give as much as you should want, and I love to give as well. So I just love to feel appreciated and stuff. And to be honest, I just had like a moment. I just had a moment of emotion, but I had more vulnerability. I felt so vulnerable today because you're seeing all these lovely things and you're looking back at all the lovely things you've done with partners. Like for me, I'm just feeling really scared. I'm scared and to be vulnerable because I just feel like I've gave so much. I haven't got that full appreciation fully back and I feel a bit scared because I'm just like, I don't know, I'm a wee bit scared. But anyway, it's one fucking day. It's one day. I don't know why I took a wee notion. And you know what I did? I was like, I had a wee lump in my throat today. I was like, I had a wee lump. I was just like, and which is natural. And what I did with it was, I was like, I'm not getting rid of this. You know what I was doing? Distracting, cleaning, laundry, just distracting myself. And I was like, I need to go upstairs. I need to put on a releasing emotion meditation for like 25 minutes and just bawl. And I just bawled. I took a massive breath at the end and I felt better because sometimes like it's just sitting there and we don't want to trap it. We want to let it out. So if you're feeling emotional today, you don't have to get a meditation, get a sad song, get whatever, let it out and have a good cry. I feel better. I feel this massive release. I feel like it's so natural to be triggered in these emotions around something like Valentine's Day. Feel into it, allow yourself to cry, try to just, because sometimes we want to distract because we don't want to feel the sadness. We want to sit on TikTok for all the hours of the day because we're like, okay, I don't want to cry, so let me go in here, let me do this. Sometimes like you just need to take 20 minutes and just give it a good old give it a good old rattle, and then take a big breath, come back to the moment. But that's why I was like, I was going to come on here and be like, okay, the joy of being single and all this. And then I was like, you know what? Sometimes it does feel a bit shitty and you feel a bit emotional, but it's one day. It's like Christmas Day. Remember Christmas Day? I was emotional too. And there's so many things to be happy for, because like looking at everyone else, you're like, that is so beautiful. Love is so beautiful and nice. But also when people are asking me as well about the joy of being single, there's so much joy in being single. And people, I wrote in, or I put a question box up being like, I need your single advice. I need just all the girly chats today. And someone was like, please enjoy your singleness, because you will miss it. You will miss that sort of freedom. Yeah, it's amazing to have a loving, committed relationship, but there's a time in your life where you're single, you're free, you have no one to worry about but yourself. You can do whatever you want. You can travel wherever you want. And, you know, the grass is always greener when you're in a relationship. People always think of those moments. And also we want stories for the dinner table. So enjoy your single life. And yeah, and I always say this as well, like there's people in relationships and they're in the wrong relationships. And we are looking at their Valentine's Day, and sometimes we don't know what's going on. Sometimes maybe they're not being appreciated and loved. Maybe they don't feel loved. Maybe things have happened in that relationship. And we have to be grateful that we loved ourselves enough to, you know, break up with that person and deserve better. And that person hopefully will gain strength if they're in the wrong relationship. But if you're single, know that you are loved by you, because you did what was right for you in this moment. And you're a strong, independent woman. And I love that for us, because we don't have to worry about anything, you know? So hold on, do I get my girly chats? Because I don't want to keep you too long on today's podcast, because I do have like a meditation for you later. I did like a wee get to know me box at the start, because I was like, we haven't done like a real catch up on like a few bits and pieces. So I was like, oh, I'll do like a get to know me, see if anyone asks me questions. But you know what? Somebody asked me this question before, and you know, I did get an email and I haven't replied to it. I'm so sorry I haven't replied. But someone was like, are you triggered by pregnancy announcements, right? And that's the same as like, am I triggered by Valentine's? Sometimes it's emotional because you just want to feel loved and appreciated in Valentine's Day, but I don't look at someone else's love and be like, fuck you. I'm like, that is beautiful. Yes, I would love to be loved, but at the same time, I take inspiration from it. Like it's possible to feel that love. And that's the same way as like, someone's like, are you triggered by pregnancy announcements whenever obviously you like, to be honest, endometriosis and adenomyosis sometimes doesn't cause fertility problems, but sometimes it does. I don't even know where that problem is. But somebody sent this email and I think they thought I was really emotional because my friend Siobhan announced her pregnancy. And I was just like, that could not be farther from the truth. I just feel like looking at someone else bringing a new life into the world is just an opportunity for inspiration. Like how amazing, how beautiful, like to think of it and be like, oh my God, no, I want to be pregnant, or I want to, like, that's not the case, guys. I don't want to be pregnant anytime soon. Obviously I have voiced how I'm feeling about my own self and blah, 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 but I definitely do not get triggered by that. I think the general question is like, how am I doing? A lot of people are asking about like, obviously my ex and stuff. Like we're still friends and we still have the same friendship groups. Like it's just a little bit harder now because like we're at that stage where, you know, we're dating other people and it's hard, it's hurtful, and it's one of the hardest parts of a breakup, isn't it? Like when, you know, sometimes it just fucking hurts and you just have to fucking deal with it. Everyone's like, you seem very quiet lately, are you okay? I think like Instagram just can sometimes be very crazy. Sometimes I just, at the moment, it's hard to talk about anything because someone has to say something. There's just a lot of things. And I also like, I feel like I voice everything on my podcast. I feel like I'm here, my podcast, I like to voice. And I just feel like, you know, I'm not like quiet on Instagram. I'm just kind of, I don't know, like when I'm having a bit of emotional sad time or whatever, like I don't feel like I should be coming on being like, hey, I'm sad. Although I did tell today that I was crying, but that's about it. And like how I'm getting on in Australia, I'm so happy. Like even though I sound a bit emotional there today, but that's just Valentine's Day. I've literally never been happier. I was away in Perth there at the weekend, and I was like, I'm so excited to get back home. I'm so excited to get to my little apartment. I'm so excited to light a candle and chill. I'm just really content and really happy. And Australia, Perth was so good as well. Such a vibe. How do you everyone's like, how do you stay such positive mindset after setbacks? But you know what? Even though like I've had an emotional day today, I've let it happen and it's my bounce back rate. You know what I mean? Like I know how to bounce back and know how to be resilient because I know that everything that's affecting me is not because I'm not enough. It's not because of anything. I'm always good enough. I'm always, I know I have that much love for myself that I know what's right for me. And I think that I have that resilience that I think like when you start to think it's your fault and everything's your fault and you're taking everything personally, that's when it can be so painful. So I'm like, it's not really my fault. This is the situation right now. It's a little bit emotional and this is how we move forward. This is how we get to a better place. This is how we, remove the blocks and become stronger and all this stuff as well. I think we got to realize even in relationships as well, like throughout all the relationships that we've had, failed, not failed, broken, not broken, I feel like we learn so much about ourselves. And I feel like at this age now, I'm at an age of, I know exactly what I want. I know exactly what I do not want. And I have no problem voicing and saying it. I've seen this in TikTok the other day. It's like, there's no games. Like, I just know what I want. And I'm at that stage where if you can't give it to me, I'm sorry, But you know what? Someone says how not to be lonely on Valentine's Day. And I think Galentine's Day is the most amazing idea. All the girls get together and do a Galentine's dinner, do like a little night in. And I just think even my friends that are in relationships are doing Galentine's as well. It's not just like all the single people. And you have to remember as well, guys, all the people that are single are probably out tonight. So it's a great night to probably go out as well. Do you know what? Someone says, do I ever feel guilty about being away from my family? And I think about this a lot, right? Maybe this is just my family. But my family are like, bye, see ya. Like, they're not like, please come back, I miss you so much, like crying or nothing. So I feel like that makes me feel less guilty because they don't show their emotions as much as even though I know they miss me. But I think like, they're like, see you later, bye. Like, don't like get the bus to the airport. I feel like that helps me, even though, I don't know, I feel like it feels less guilty than, because I have a friend coming out here in the next few weeks and she's like feeling so emotional with her mom and her mom's really upset, and I'm like, oh, maybe that's why you feel so guilty, because your mom was really upset. Whereas my mom's like, she's fine, she's grand, we still talk every single day. So I know, I think like, when your gran and granda ring you, like you always feel a bit guilty. You're like, gran and granda, oh my God, they're so cute. Like, and they have really got onto using FaceTime these days. So like, we're so lucky that we have this advanced technology as well, that they can, like, I did a full apartment tour the other day for my gran and granddad, and my granny was like, what's this? What's that? Why is this like that? Then she was like, showing me how to make like the sunflowers and everything outside. Well, the sunflower died. So sorry, granny. I tried to like grow like a big sunflower and that didn't happen, but we'll get there. And then we have some girly single advice. Someone's like, enjoy being single. Wish I enjoyed it more. Love where I am now, but wish I'd done things more that I loved. And I love that because when you're single, you literally don't have to worry about anyone. You know what? A lot of people's single advice is embrace being single. We will be paired with our perfect man for long enough. This is our time to shine. This is our time to be selfish, find out who you truly are. It's so hard to pair yourself with someone when you don't know who you are, what you like, where you want to live. And I feel like it's amazing when you're younger to grow up with someone and grow into this love. But also like when you actually grow on your own as well, it's so special to get to know yourself before you meet that one. And so many people have said this in the question box there today, just saying like, everything changed when I loved myself and when I gave myself everything that I found joy in. Let's talk about this, right? I know he's moving on straight away. Literally told me he loved me and now he's moving on already after we broke off. I think this is such a man thing to do, don't you? Like, I feel like when you've broken up with someone and the validation is taken away, like the words of affirmation from your partner, the loving attention, like they can't deal with being on their own in that sense. Like, I'm not saying whoever this is, but usually after a breakup, like you're 100% not ready to be dating. I don't really feel like you do. I feel like you do it because you feel so unloved. So you're going to search for love and validation elsewhere. But the sadness always comes back and you always have to deal with it at one point in your life. So when you look at someone and you think they've moved on so quickly, please take a step back and realize that that person is searching love and validation at that moment in time, and you are looking after yourself, and it might be more difficult for you because you love differently than another person, and that person is needing something else to fill the void in this breakup, and that happens regularly. I know the feeling myself. Like whenever I feel unloved in a relationship and then broken up with them, like I'm like I would have searched, you know, on Tinder looking for validation, you know, especially when you're not at a stage where you're like loving yourself, you're just, or you know yourself, because you know that sometimes you need time on your own sometimes. And you know what I mean? So please don't take it that that person doesn't love you, doesn't value you. You are really special, but that's just the way that sometimes people deal with things. And I get that. Okay, here's one for you, right? And I wish I had someone here to discuss this with me, because I feel like I need a back and forward of this. So let me know what you think. This is someone who just wrote in saying, not a story, but wanted advice on something. My boyfriend doesn't like Valentine's. Fair enough. Didn't get flowers or anything last year. I was joking saying, where are my flowers? Completely understand if he isn't into it, but flowers can be so cheap to pick up when he knows they would mean the world to me, or something small like a little bit of chocolate. While I get to sit around, see my friends get flowers and gifts, just makes me feel a bit low. So I think this is such a interesting topic, because I feel like I need someone to fight the other corner. But because I know that some people say Valentine's is a made up gimmick that is, you know, for the promotional companies, but at the end of the day, it's here. It's a day to appreciate your loved one, especially the boy to appreciate the girl. And I feel like people are being appreciated, and it's very hard for you to watch whenever you have gave your all, you've gave so much love throughout the year, and you're like, this is my time to feel appreciated. I wish someone was here to argue with me, but I honestly don't understand why someone wouldn't get you flowers. I really don't understand why someone just doesn't get the fucking tenner flowers. It is, and you can get a rose for like what, a few pound. It baffles me. Like, it's literally just a way to show your appreciation to someone on this day, because sometimes it's like, oh, is it my ego? You can step back and be like, is it my ego because everyone else is getting something, I want something? No, you have a vital right to feel loved, to feel appreciated. And see, when someone's like, I don't like Valentine's Day, it's not to me, but what's important to your partner? Like, when I have a partner, I don't like fucking football, but I know that you value it and it's important to you. So if you want me to sit and watch football with you, I'll sit and watch football with you. You know what I mean? Like, what's important to your partner? Ask them, what do you need? Look, you could even say, look, I'm not 100% into this, I'm not mad into it, but like, all I want is for you to feel appreciated and loved. And how can I do that for you? Because sometimes like men cannot read your mind, or women, and sometimes you need to ask for it. But I do feel like I am a hopeless romantic. I love Valentine's Day. I love getting flowers. I love feeling appreciated. I love feeling loved, but also the other way about, I love making people feel appreciated and loved. I love, you know, getting people present. I'm a big gift giver. And then I'm like, oh my God, if I have a partner on Valentine's Day, I'm like, this is my day. This is like my day to get everything back, because like you give out so much love. So sometimes we get saddened because where our expectations are, and sometimes our expectations are completely valid. Like, to get a bunch of flowers on Valentine's Day, come on, it's a bare minimum. No, I don't know. Did somebody want to argue with me on that? Because I feel like I'm right. So people are talking about the Mastering Emotions podcast. Now, that is in season 1, and it was me telling you how to communicate with your partner and on your expectations, because men don't expect things on Valentine's Day. They think you don't expect either. They're just like, oh yeah, it's Valentine's Day, it'll be fine. But if you expect something, sometimes you have to say, I do expect it. Now, it depends where you are in your relationship. Like, if you're just seeing someone, you can't turn around and be like, hey, I expect, you know, I do expect like to be shown love and appreciation. But if you're in a relationship, I do feel like you can have that conversation. And if it didn't happen, you can bring it up and be like, look, I just want to feel loved and appreciated. This isn't about the flowers, or it isn't about the things or the dinner. It's literally just about quality time and, you know, the appreciation of me. So that's called Mastering Your Emotions episode. I can't remember what episode, but I definitely know it's at the very bottom, because I think it was like my first Valentine's Day with my ex Jack. And I feel like I was communicating my feelings, because he obviously didn't know, and then I communicated, and we had the best like Valentine's Day as well. Now, someone's asked about this, right? Now, this is a very good topic. I wish I had someone else here to chat about this as well. How do you think someone gets over a situationship that was never official, right? So there's these things even on TikTok saying like, why am I so sad over a situationship than I am over the relationship? And I definitely feel that in a long-term relationship, especially the woman can sometimes be emotionally checked out long before they actually check out. So I feel like they prepare themselves. They, you know, start to feel, there's that, I don't know, do you ever feel that feeling of numb? Like, I'm not even going to, you know, say anything anymore, because you just keep doing stupid shit, and I'm just going to keep I'm just like, you get like this numb. You check out. There's more time to be emotionally checked out, and then you check out. I think that's sometimes different from the situationship where you really like someone, it's really intense, and then they're just not ready for a relationship, so they back out, and you're like, oh my God, you've taken away all my love. I'm not prepared. So I think like the shock and not being prepared and not being can sometimes get you. But I feel like when you like someone that much and it's really hurts, I feel like sometimes you have to think about it as how amazing we got to feel that. Some people don't get to feel like this amazing bubbly feeling of love, and the person that leaves you is not the person for you. The person that does not appreciate you and walks away from you will never be the person for you. You know what I mean? And just remember that as well. I think sometimes you beat yourself up for being so sad over a situationship, but because it's new, it's bubbling, you're living in the honeymoon stage, and then all of a sudden they've started to back out because maybe they're not ready for a relationship, or maybe like, they're just in a different space than you, then it can seem really difficult. So go easy on yourself, because those things are hard. Single advice, please. Why are men all the same? I think sometimes we go through these emotions when we keep attracting these men and we feel like there's just going to be no change, but there is, because then in this question box, there is also a woman saying, found the love of my life, been with him 10 years, only found him at like 32 and blah, blah, blah. All these people are saying all these different things. So there is, and like, that's why we got to look around at these real men. Like I look around at my friends, boyfriends, and be like, these men, amazing men exist. And sometimes we've got to kiss a few frogs, guys. And being single now is when we're going to find our true selves. And then we find our true selves, of course, we're going to attract the best person for us instead of attracting someone to love us. You know what I mean? To feel good. Someone asked me to take me on a date. I don't get much of that, I don't get much of that. But I don't know. What do you think that? Like asking me on a date in a question box? I don't think that's I don't know. Oh, somebody says, newly single after an 11-year relationship. There are so much wonderful men out there, and that is like the voice of faith and hope, and I love that. This has been a bit of a roller coaster because I'm giving you single advice, but I'm also had a wee bit of, but I feel I'm 100 times better today. Not today, had a little bit of emotion this morning. I like got it out, like it was sitting in my throat. I let it go, had a little cry. Let's rock. I feel like now let's push all that aside. Let's move on to the Galentine's single gal life and what is so good about being single. And I said this on like my other podcast as well, just like sometimes it's amazing to not have another person to think of. Like you can travel wherever you want, you can go somewhere, you can stay out all night to 6 o'clock in the morning, you don't have to text or call, you know what I mean? There's so much joy in being single as well. And even in relationships, please remember that like it's not all roses and chocolates. Yeah, today is roses and chocolates, but sometimes it's very difficult conversations. It's very difficult arguments and trying to navigate relationships. Sometimes there's a lot of hurt. That is just like my little quick podcast, because today was all about showing you that you can give the love that you want. So today, if you're single, I want you to give yourself the love that you need. Like if you want a man to hold on. I have a meditation for you in the next podcast. It's going to go up. It's all about self-love, attracting love, everything that's going to bring you joy. And I just want you to listen to it and figure it out, because that's what today's podcast was all about. I just wanted to show that meditation in the next podcast. But I just want you all to remember that you're all amazing. And whether you're in a relationship or you're single, today is just one day. Appreciate it. Love it. Appreciate yourself. Get yourself a Galentine's. Enjoy yourself. Take yourself out. Give yourself a pamper, whatever you need. This is one day to my single ladies. And also, if you're in a relationship, love and appreciate your loved one and know what makes you feel good may make them feel good. And I'm just going to say over and out for this week. And hopefully that meditation and the next one will make you feel better. Bye.